I always pondered, how can we take the colors from our Figma and Adobe XD designs and put them into a meaningful palette inside our coding environment? Now, I finally found a solution, and we all been there. You want to change the alpha just a tiny bit, and then you have to go and create a new variable, and you gotta set the transparency 10% lower, and then you're like, and it is just kind of bad, you know. There's way too much management. It's easier just to, make a reference and just say transparency go 10% lower. So that's basically what I made. All right, let's just jump straight into it. So first of all, I have defined a color up here. So I'm using a mixin that's from a CSS, and then I set the name of the color and I set the color itself over here. Now, if we look, what really happens is that it's actually creating 4 variables: H, S, L, and A. And if you look down here on the left, you can see that these colors match the values that comes up here. And you can see it's color in front, so it's adding these things for us. And then lastly, but not least, we have the color accent itself. And that is just a reference to these other values. So when we create another reference, so let's say I have this accent active color, I can reference the accent up here by just writing accent instead of HSLA. So that would be the H for accent. So if I would say, if I wanted the same saturation as the accent, I could put accent here. So when we save this and we look down on the color accent active, you can see that the H now is a reference to the one up here. So that means when we have all of these references and I change the accent to, let's say, a blue color, we can see an immediate change everywhere because everything is referenced. Now, let's just and let's get into the practical solutions here. Let's say go into my, I think I have my, you see I have this button here. Let's go into that. And if we look over here, actually, that's not valid. I'm still working on this, guys, so don't judge. So when I have this button up here and hover over, you can see it comes out with this blue rectangle, and the color itself is also blue. So to reference the variable in here, first of all, I created it. It's called action. And an easy way to just reference immediately without doing the var and all that, you can just write color, capital, action. And now it's referenced. So if I look at the button here, and I go on the after, and go on to the top, you can see that the background color is to the color action. Now I wanna, when I hover over here, you can see that it's a little lighter. Also, to be honest, it's the opacity is also down, but that's on the element itself. It's lighter. So basically, if we look at the before instead, you can see over here I set lightness, just like you would write alpha or saturation. I wrote lightness, and then I set minus 10%. That means it should be relative to the lightness of the color. It's of the reference. So if I look at this one, you can see it says it has made references to all of these values for the action. And down here, instead, it just says calc for calculate, and then just the reference, whoops, and then minus 10%. So now that's minus 10% of the, in the relative to the reference. I can also set it directly. So if I want it to be 10%, I can just remove that and then it's 10%. And when we hover over, we can immediately see the effect. That's why this is so incredibly important, because like if I didn't actually do this and I just set a color action, there's a difference. Maybe that actually looks better. I guess I don't know. Anyways, don't get sidetracked. So that's like the incredible use of this way of working. Another thing you can do is you can actually get the color itself. So let's say I want to set the background color directly. I can do HSL, and I want the H to be the action. I mean, I could probably do it like this. Whoops. HSL. So that does the same thing. It creates the references. So yeah, I mean, there's multiple ways of doing it. Now, there's one thing you have to keep in mind, is that when you set a variable setting and you try to set it to, let's say, hates action, it doesn't work. It just says hates action, and this is not valid CSS. Remember, it has to compile. Now, and that only happens when you're creating variables. So if I delete that, you can see it actually does as expected, setting a reference to the variable itself. Now, so to overcome this, you just have to put a hashtag and then curly brackets around it, and there you have it. So, and there's also a third way. You can say, if I want the action up here, if I want to change the variable, I can say include var hates action, and I can set it to like, I don't know, like 200 degrees, and it will change that. Not actually sure. Yeah, so you know, now it changes that in that way. So as you can see down here, it sets the hates to 100 degree, and the same way you could set the, I don't know, the saturation to like 100%, or like 0%. Oops, 0%. So that's really up to you. I mean, there's a lot of things, a lot of possibilities with this new method that I recently found and made. So thank you for watching. I hope this will be useful to you. You can go down to the description, and there's a copy paste, and you can get started. Now, if you want to have the same workflow as I do here in Svelte, what you can do is that you can, first of all, in your root, I have like this layout root. I import global style sheet here, and this global style sheet, if I go to the global style sheet, importing the utility somewhere. I think it's from here, yeah. So it's importing via variables from var color. So, and another thing you also want to do, because of the fact that the styles are localized to the component, you can go into Svelte config.ds, and you can, in the preprocess here, under CSS, you can prepend the data and import the file itself. So there you have it. I hope you get something useful out of this.